Hi everyone, my name is Cami and this is my kitchen, and today we are making Carmelitas. They're like these caramel oatmeal brown sugar deliciousness. So anyway, these are a family favorite. They make a large pan, so they're great for reunions or when you get together, at Christmas time, or if you have to take something to a big party. Anyway, they're a perfect bar cookie, and this is definitely a recipe that you are going to use on repeat. It is not light fare. Let me just say that. It is full of all the goodness. So we're gonna start with the base of the cookie. We start with a full pound of butter. So 2 cups of butter. This is room temperature butter. We're gonna actually kind of start mixing that a little bit. And we're gonna mix it. Sorry. Okay, we're gonna mix it with our brown sugar. So this is 2 1/4 cups. Now I just opened up this bag. It's a really light brown sugar. Not as much molasses. I don't love it. Anyway, it's fine. I can tell it's kind of a more inexpensive brown sugar because it's not as dark and rich, but it'll be fine. But if you want a really good brown sugar, you don't have to go the dark, but like a darker color, you can kind of tell in the store. All right, so we have our brown sugar. We're gonna let the sugar and the butter mix together. This is my sister-in-law's recipe. I tweak it just a little bit, but it's become a family favorite. Then I started sharing it with my family, and then my sister's kids started sharing it with their in-laws, and it's just kind of one of those recipes that everyone loves, and so it just kind of keeps working its way down the line because people love this recipe. Okay, we're gonna add 3 cups of flour to this. I'm gonna start mixing this a little bit. Woo! I do that every time. It's so hard for me to not have it fly everywhere. All right, that, and then 3 cups of oatmeal. So it's a really easy recipe. We've got 3 cups of flour. We're gonna throw in 3 cups of quick oats. And just let it mix. Luckily I have a really nice high power mixer because it is kind of hefty. All right, then we take a teaspoon of salt. We're gonna throw that in and let it mix in. And 2 teaspoons of soda. And that's it for your base. Pretty easy, there's no eggs. It's a thick dough, but pretty easy. All right, and we're going to, as soon as this mixes, we're gonna put it in here, we're gonna press it down. So I showed you how you can use wax paper and spray it with cooking spray and then press down, like for your Rice Krispie treats. Or I'm gonna show you one more trick that I do for some of these heftier bar cookies. I'll show you. I just wanna mix to make sure we get that salt. Here's a tip for you. I usually do the salt and soda before I do all the flour and oatmeal because it mixes it a little bit easier. You don't want globs of soda and salt, and I didn't, so I'm mixing a little bit longer just so we make sure we get that mix so that it's spread out evenly in the dough. Apparently our dog hears or sees something it likes. All right, so there's our dough. And we are just going to take 3/4 of this. We're not going to put all of it because we're going to mix. We've got caramel and chocolate chips that we're going to put on it as well. And we are going to press this in. See, now it's hefty. It's a hefty dough. So I am going to kind of spread it out a little bit. And then I'm going to use my wax paper to kind of really push it because it is kind of hefty and you gotta really work it. Gotta work it. No, that's move it. My daughter fakes like she's not here and doesn't know I exist still. Oh, funny. Okay, so with this recipe, it calls for caramel. So the recipe calls for like a caramel topping, And I actually like to use like Kraft caramels or the Peter caramel. Don't mind my fingernails, I'm trying to paint them again. I put another manicure. Okay, so I usually use a Kraft caramel or like I say, like the Peter's caramel is really good too. You just want a caramel that you can mix. I add just a little bit of milk with it, melt it in the microwave, and then pour it on. Today I'm trying something different. I am going to attempt to do my homemade caramel over it with a little bit of salt. So like a salted caramel. I haven't tried it before. We're just gonna try it, right? You gotta experiment. That's how you learn. You keep trying. So anyway, I'll come back. I'm gonna press this in and then I'm gonna show you what we do next. Okay, so I've kind of pressed so the dough is evenly dispersed throughout the pan. And now I'm just gonna roll. So it's like a smoother surface when you pour on your caramel and put your chocolate chips in. So, and if you don't have a roller, it's fine. You don't need to do it. I just do it, but you don't have to. Like you could just press it down with like the wax paper in your hands is the way that you can do it. See, and then you're not like using your hands and pressing it down. Like it's just more sanitary this way and kind of a quick way to do your dough. Okay, there we go. We're gonna take that off and I'm gonna bake this at 350 for 8 minutes. And then I'll show you what we do next. Okay, so now these have baked for 8 minutes. See, they kind of got poofy a little bit and okay, you guys, I made my homemade caramel and I'm kind of excited about it. This is a recipe coming. This is a recipe you are definitely gonna want for the holidays. My mom used to make batches and batches and batches and give them to all the neighbors for Christmas, and they just looked forward to it all the time. I didn't have the patience to, I mean, if you're getting homemade caramels for me, I really love you because it's kind of time consuming. So anyway, but that's what I did because I wanted to try it. But usually I will use these. And let me give you a tip. See, this says value pack. They come out in the fall, like with the Halloween candy, and you get a couple more ounces for the same price, especially like at Walmart. There's always coupons that you can find. So I stock up for them, or stock up with them. They'll last even a few months past the date on it. So I just stock up in the fall, and then I have caramels for the rest of the year in my food storage because you gotta have caramels and chocolate chips in your food storage. Anyway, all right, so here we have our dough that's cooked. I am going to pour my caramel on it, my homemade caramel, and this is just butter and cream and Caro syrup and sugar and vanilla. So we're gonna put that on. I'm just gonna use this little baby here to finish putting this on. All right, so we're gonna pour the caramel and okay, spread it just a little. You don't want to ruin your cookie underneath, so if it's not spreading, which we don't want to ruin the cookie. All right, then you take your chocolate chips and just sprinkle them on. I like these big milk ones. They taste really yummy in this recipe, but you can use, I mean, I've never tried semi-sweet in this, which I am really a semi-sweet fan, but I haven't tried it in this. I stick with milk. These big ones are awesome. All right, so we've got the rest of our dough, and now we crumble it on the top. Oh, you know what I want to try? You guys, I want to try. You're watching this in real time. I'm going to take some flake salt and put it over the chocolate and caramel before we bake it and see what that does to these. Now, here's the thing. If I don't love the flake salt, I might not add it in the recipe when I type it up on my blog. I might just give you the original recipe with the Kraft caramels, or the recipe calls for actually Mrs. Richardson sauce, just caramel sauce. So you can do that as well. But we have found like that the Kraft caramels give a really nice texture. And then I'm gonna see what this homemade caramel does. But you just sprinkle this on. We're gonna bake it for another 10 to 12 minutes, and then they will be ready to roll, and they are divine. So not a hard treat, or not a hard dessert. Great for a potluck, like I say. Your family's gonna love them. My neighbors all love them. They sometimes request them. So there you go. Anyway, I'll show you what they look like when they're all nice and done. Okay, so these just came out of the oven. The caramel is bubbling. Oh, it's delicious. We've got a little salt on here. Anyway, these are divine. I'm gonna wait to cut them until they cool. You wanna wait until they cool, or you're just gonna have one blobby mess. But when they cool, they turn into these beautiful caramel oatmeal buttery bars of delight. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this recipe. I can't wait for you to try it for your family.